anything. It's the greatest find yet. Nothing compares to it.
But it's definitely something you should hear.
This is The Real Deal with Larry Lawton.
Welcome to The Real Deal with me, Larry Lawton. We have a great show today, and it's going to be an interesting show because it's about human behavior and even from officials and stuff, which I'll never say, listen, you're all going to make your own judgments. I don't judge anybody. Everybody knows that. So this is going to be a pretty interesting show. I really think you guys will have a lot of fun. I will say the guy I met and the guy I talked to is listen, he's a good guy. I don't look at him and judge him at all. Nick is with me in studio. Hey, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
And you read the bio, you read everything, and you don't judge him. I know that, but what do you think so far? I mean, do you think it's gonna be a good show?
I think it's going to be a good one. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting show. Before I get started, please, everybody, check us out on all the major platforms. Remember, we are sponsored by Oliva Cigar. They are my manufacturers for the Crooked Diamond, and they are really good people. You know that, Nick. You enjoy them. You're dealing with them now a little bit. And we have a whole thing. That TV show's coming out. I spoke to Mike, actually, and Mike is just recovered from his punctured lung and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, he fell on the bike?
Yeah, he crashed the bike, broke ribs, punctured a lung.
What kind of bike?
Dirt bike, dirt
yeah,
racing.
He said him and his sons ride dirt bikes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all clicking.
Yeah, and you love bikes. I know. Nick loves motorcycles. So we're gonna know what to get Nick when he wants to get some, I guess, right, Nick? But anyway, everybody, so we're gonna have a good show today, and we also again want to remember Gangster Redemption. The book is going great. You can order it online anywhere, and then if you do, you could call me. And not call us, email our office or something, and I will sign it for you. People ask, will you sign it? I don't sign it for money. I do sign it. And also, everybody, we got a lot of other things going on. The TV show we're going to talk to Mike about from Leave a Cigar, and I love that. And they have Fidel. Fidel is the COO of that company, and he's a great guy. So he's a Cuban, I think, and he's really, really a knowledgeable guy and a nice guy, So we'll go to lunch. We'll have a roast beef sandwich that day, and we'll do our things. What else we got going on, Nick? First of all, it's Easter, man. It's Easter weekend.
Today's Easter?
No. Today's Friday. It's actually Passover, isn't it? Friday's Passover.
Oh, is this when they put him in the vault?
In the vault, and the blood has to go on the cabin, so they don't.
Oh, the goat blood.
Yeah,
so
the lamb blood. Kill the firstborn of every
kids.
Right.
What a story!
I know it is a story. That is very true, Nick. It's a great story. And I'm not going to get into that religious part of it. We also wanted to wish everyone a happy Easter. Whatever your faith is and whatever it takes for you to get by in life, good for you. That I believe in. Also, we do have the Reality Check Parenting Seminar coming up in August, and we're getting rolling on that. We'll be working hard on that this week, Nick. We got to give them a lot of stuff and data and videos I got to make. We don't stop here, do we?
No.
We are a small operation, but we really all work hard, and that's what I love about this thing. I really do. That is what I love the most about this. And I think if we all can stay that way and stay busy like that, I think we'll all be pretty good. Now, I'm going to give a call to our guest. Let me give our guest up, Nick. Our guest is Nicholas, same as yours, spelling and everything, Nick. Nicholas Kettle. It's Kettle, Kettle. But Nicholas is the youngest ever state senator in the United States, not just in New Hampshire. He's from New Hampshire. Is it New Hampshire? I think it is. I didn't even read it. Greenwich. Oh, Rhode Island. I'm wrong. It's Rhode Island. I'm sorry, everybody. It's Rhode Island. Nicholas is from Rhode Island. He is the youngest senator ever, state senator, in the history of the United States of anybody. No, CNN couldn't find anybody who was ever younger. So we're going to get into that. He's in his 30s now. I think he's 32 and mature guy, but he had a rough road. And we're going to go over that whole road with him. And I want him to help tell the story what happened, because it can happen to all of us. I know it can happen to me, but I hope it doesn't happen to me. Obviously, but people do stupid things. People try to, what do you call it, blackmail or extort or something like that. And that's bullshit, man. It really is bullshit to me. But we're going to try him. So, Nick, tell him what else is going on with us. What else we got crazy stuff going on?
The VH1 show's being edited. It'll be out in the fall.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's gonna be out in fall. And what do you think about that show? I mean, how'd
I
it
think
go?
it's
You
gonna
were
be
there?
good. I'm pretty excited. I want to see how it's clipped together.
Yeah, I do too. So I
Desmond
want
did
to
a
see
great
that.
job producing that.
Good
Oh, I
morning.
think so. Hey, Nicholas, how you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
Very good, Nicholas. You are on with Nick, my partner over here, and he and I are on the radio on the show with you. So we got Nicholas from Rhode Island. I was explaining your youngest state senate in the history of the United States. That's amazing, man. I got to give you a lot of props for that.
Well, thank you very much, and certainly an honor and a privilege to come on here and be able to talk to you and talk about my story.
Well,
So,
your
yeah.
story is amazing, and I kind of gave a brief, so everybody's wondering what it is, what it is, what it is. But we're going to get into it in a minute. I want to first give a little bit of your background. You literally the young. I applaud you for this, Nick. First of all, let me let everybody know. Nick and I actually met. Nick, he's a cigar smoker, and he ended up buying a box of cigars from us. And then I talked to make sure they were all delivered, like various people around the country. And Nick answered. We just started talking, and he's a really intelligent, well-spoken guy. And how did you find the show, Nick, or even me with the cigars?
So I guess on YouTube one night I was scrolling around and I started off watching YouTube when you were going through the chapters of your book. So I started on there and following all of your content, and then now with the podcast, obviously. When you came out with the cigars, I'm like, oh, I got to order those right away because I do enjoy a cigar every now and then. And everyone who has tried them, they have been absolutely fantastic. And really, I've had other cigars, doesn't compare. And I don't like to blow smoke, but it's a good smoke. The ash holes is fantastic. So,
Thank you, Nick.
but anyway,
That is so much appreciated, and it really is Oliva Cigars, who is the third largest company in the world, cigar company, and they're going to be number one someday. We did a show. We have a show coming out on cigars, on just cigars, and we interview CEOs and we get tours of warehouses and how it goes. So it's pretty cool. We're gonna have a lot of that. And but what you said is so true. I smoke a lot of cigars, Nick, and what has happened is you could smoke multiple of these cigars and they don't leave an aftertaste in your mouth. They don't, they're good for
right.
everybody, and they are. They a mild, medium. You smoke different. I think you smoked a few different. I don't know if the different ones are.
I got two different ones now. So,
Yeah, and I saw
matter of
you.
fact, my fiance is going to pick up the box from the post office today. So, for
Oh
the
yeah,
wedding.
and first of all, you're getting wedded. Congratulations, you're getting married next month.
Yes,
And I got to give you congratulations. How old are you now, Nick?
I am 32.
32. Wow, yeah, 32 years old. You're born 1990, and I'll tell you what, your story is amazing. I'm gonna just give a prelim because we have questions about the story.
Yep.
First of all, Nick was the youngest senator in Rhode Island's history and in the United States' history, and he started really getting traction. How many terms did you serve?
I served 4 terms. My first election was in 2010, and I beat a 18-year incumbent in the Republican primary. And then I won that primary, and I'm like, oh God, now I gotta actually run the campaign into the fall. I didn't think I was going to win.
So you were
So
22?
You were 20. How old? No, he was 20. He was born.
I was 19 when I won my primary, and I was 20 when I got elected that November.
In the
So
United States government, you have to be 25 to be a House of Representatives and 30 to be a senator. Uh,
yeah, in Rhode Island, uh, some states have age restrictions, so that's why I've kind of held the record. Rhode Island's had several young senators, but so far I'm the youngest, and I served. And lady still up there who I broke her record. So
wow.
um,
And so you were 20 years old or 19? You said.
I was 19 when I won the primary, and I was 20. I just turned 20 when I won my election.
And is Rhode Island a Republican state?
Not at all. That year, the Republicans did make gains. We got up to 8 out of 38, and after that, we only had 5 after 2012, and I was normally one of the 5. And
Wow.
it's been We have had Republican governors at times, but all of our statewide offices have been held by Democrats since 2010. We've only had a handful in the legislature. So that lopsided imbalance is something that I always tried to fight against.
Wow, it's amazing that first of all, I want to again applaud you for going into politics at a young age. And as you said, you were complaining about the Obama or something he was doing, and then you said you wanted to do something about it. Now, I talk to Nick a lot, and we talk in this office on this show about I was pretty bad back in the day, and I did corrupted a few senators and mayors and whatever. And that's just the way it was. And I know how it works, Nick, and I really
Mhm.
do applaud you for sticking to your values there. And you listen, value. You have values. I'm gonna leave that alone. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But is that amazing, Nick? I mean, thinking about him at 20 years old, how mature do you got to be? I mean, how did you pretty much grew up in the Senate then, right? And it wasn't the House. You have a House and a Senate, right?
Yes, we have a House and a Senate, and yeah, looking back, as you said, I grew up in the Senate, and when you're a young 20-year-old, you're going to make mistakes, and for most 20 years old, they'll play out, in the privacy with their family and friends, but um, unfortunately for myself, it played out in the public eye. And my first term, when you send out an email, I sent out a little email and it caught a little dust up, and stupid little things
What was
like
the
that.
email?
I was criticizing the we were having hearings on homelessness in Rhode Island, and I pointed out, I said, this is quote a dog and pony show. Nothing is going to change, and and basically I complained about that, and it got out there, and all the homeless advocates made quite a ruckus. And I sat down with them after and explained my point of views, and and I said, listen, I said, getting a lot of money, and I said, well, what are we doing here? We're not actually sending any money to the homeless and actually fixing this problem. So and
That's
we left it
politics
at
in
that.
itself, man. Most of the money, I tell people this all the time, Nick. You need to go to Charity Navigator a lot of times, and that's what I do because I take care of my mom. And if you go
Mhm.
to Charity Navigator, it has the charities rated, and like St. Jude's or the Shriners Hospital's got a 90 plus rating. You'd be surprised of the good you think are good charities, and there are a bunch of shit, and it's the same because people give them money with a good intent. And I those kind of scams, especially because they target elderly people, it kind of like pisses me off, because
And
I
all
think
this stuff, it's all intertwined up here now with the government. So it's all
yeah,
together.
we could get into that, but we're not. We also have like uh, you said you're like that about what you said. I'm a libertarian myself, and you said you're more of a libertarian. I am in the regards that I've been a young Republican. Actually, I was going through our records the other day with Nick, and he seen me on the Young Republican Committee, and who I don't even want to tell you the year. So it was a long time ago. And anyway, and then I got sick of the Republican Party because they're doing their bullshit, and then I went to the Democratic Party, and they got bullshit more. And now I'm back. I said, there's no real. I wish this country, I really mean it, would come up with a third party that's viable. But obviously, I think the powers that
Yeah,
be won't give them the money.
very quickly on the libertarian front, I early on and how I got involved was I was a big supporter of Texas Congressman Ron Paul when he
Sure.
ran for president
Yep.
in 2008, 2012. And so I'm kind of more along the lines, I want to steer the Republican Party back to, I think, are its true roots, more towards smaller government and, being more libertarian leaning. But, I think a lot of the push against LGBTQ rights in a lot of states, I think personally we need to stay out of people's lives. And,
Ugh.
if that makes people happy, it's not
S-
bothering me,
so
so.
so true, Nick. What I tell everybody here, I personally am socially liberal. I could give a fuck about what you do in your house with another person with drugs. That's your business. In your domain is your business. Now, as long as you're not hurting somebody, you're not
Or kids.
doing something a kid against like that. Absolutely. Other than that, do it yourself. So, but I'm fiscally conservative. I don't like my money being spent on bullshit, which it is. I don't like, wasting, spending waste and giving things that we know are not going to. It's all a bunch of bullshit. And, from the debt to not, even the debt's kind of bullshit. But that's politics. I want to jump in here with your case, which made it really interesting. You are 20 years old as a senator, correct now?
Yes.
Now, you did something that we all do. I mean, everyone. I don't care. Today, we all do. You take pictures with your phone or whatever of yourself naked
Correct.
and whatever.
Yep.
Now, and everybody does that. I mean, that's pretty much. I don't know many people who don't, and I don't mean that to be a smart ass out there, anybody. And it's not even if you're doing it to look at your own body, from a different viewpoint. But whatever you did, and you took some pictures of you and a girl. I guess your girlfriend.
She
at the
was
time.
my girlfriend at the time.
Oh.
And what kind of flipped this whole case was when we went through it, and we had our own forensic investigator, Ed Pelletier, great guy. He saved me on another case too.
We're going to get into both of the cases because I think they're bullshit. But go ahead.
And the case involving my ex-girlfriend, we went through, and he called me up and goes, "Did you know that there were pictures on her phone of you?" I said, "Nope." So.
She took them without your knowledge? She took them without your knowledge?
I didn't. Nope. So now, we're like, this whole case should have been a wash. Should have been I had pictures of her. She had pictures of me. Should have been a wash.
But I have a question for you. But I got to stop you because everybody's going to be wondering right there. Is it illegal to have naked pictures on your phone?
No, unless her allegation was she didn't know about them.
Okay, so you can't take pictures, obviously. Now, obviously, there has to be pictures. Is she posing? Is she with you during sex? Is she doing stuff? Most people live like I live, listen, I don't care about I don't care about, again, I'm very open-minded. So I look at things in a big different way that, listen, life is fuck it. But you as a young senator, I just did not know it's illegal. Especially you as the youngest. Hey, Dave, hey, got my brother popped in. Hey, you want to sit in on, Dave? We got a good conversation, no? Okay.
It's right over there.
Yeah. Anyway, so you know how the show works. It's the real deal.
Oh, absolutely. I'm waiting for Garfield to show up.
Oh, yeah, Garfield. Now, he just came by. I think he went by. I think there's someone in on him. He's waiting for Garfield. But, so go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt on that.
So, anyways, and then, so I was charged with 10 statutes. 5 for each image, or there were 8 images, excuse me, and then 2 for sending. And I sent them to a friend of mine. So that's where that case, the root of that came from.
But I got to stop you again. So you're saying you sent 2 pictures to a friend, so they give you that for sending it or whatever, for sending pornography through the mail. Okay, like whatever it is. But did they tell you it's illegal to have a picture of a nude person on your phone? I mean, I'm trying to think. Can't they look at a picture and say she was posing or she was in a sexual act with you or whatever, something like that?
They contended that it was taken without consent. I argue we argued that there was no expectation of privacy, so we tried to argue the law on that. Unfortunately, the way things turned out, because I was looking at the other case, but the deal on this case was they couldn't use the conviction against me in another case, and that was very important.
Yeah, we're going to go into that case in a minute, but I just want to catch this case. So what they're saying, if I get this right, that if you just said you argued that you had no expectation of privacy. Is that in a person's house, or was the pictures taken maybe in a public area?
Well, there has been some Supreme Court law that my attorney has done on another case, and that somebody else did not have expectation of privacy in a hotel room when a search warrant was executed. So we tried to apply that same logic to this case as well. And we're talking about the Rhode Island Supreme Court, and that the judge didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, no, I understand that because obviously it was in a hotel room. I get that part of it, but I would think there is an expectation. Just to let you know, personally, if I'm in a hotel room with somebody, I would expect that to be a private where you can lock a door, and that's like if there's no expectation of privacy, then what happens when maybe a former person who was in the room or the cleaning person put up a camera and try to get an image of you?
Right.
That would be, to me. I mean, that's big no because
And look, I feel horrible. What happened? Do I think that this was blown way out of proportion? Absolutely.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I know what you're saying. You feel bad. Listen, everybody knows I'm open. I'm a swinger or whatever. We used to swing with my girls and whatever. And I don't look at that like that. That's a lifestyle that's between the two people or the three people, whatever. Whoever's involved, that's between them. I don't think it's anybody's business. You're not hurting people. You're not doing anything, illegal. So why? That's why I'm kind of like a little bit confused about why. First of all, listen. If the girl was really you know more than anybody. If you did do it illegally, Nick, meaning like without her knowledge, then you should be sorry. But if you guys agreed on something, and maybe you're sorry just that you sent it to a friend, because I mean I could see me doing that too. That's a bad choice, maybe, but I could see me doing that. So if
right,
that,
I just my intention was to never hurt her, and her feelings were hurt, and just obviously I still feel terrible to this day, and I hope that she's healed and is moving on and doing well in her life. I'm doing good things, and I've moved on, and so I just hope for the best.
I agree with that. Obviously, I always believe in that. I believe more common sense laws should be around than there should be like legal laws.
Absolutely, and that case could have been charged as a misdemeanor.
Okay, did you
And
take a plea on that or anything?
yes,
So
I pled the charges, and I got a 3-year suspended sentence.
did you get on? Are you a sex offender?
No.
Why is that?
Under Rhode Island statute, that is not covered under the Sex Offender Act.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad personally. But
I am too. And if it's somebody under 18, it is covered, but over 18, it is not.
gotcha. Okay, now we're going to bring you to the second case. The second case, again, these are cases, and I've seen it with the Tate case. Now I'm seeing it with people. Once the bad wagon comes out, it must have been in the newspapers big time. Your first case.
Oh, so back up to the first case for a second. That broke. I went back to my house on a Monday night. I stayed at my parents for a couple of nights because I was pretty traumatized breaking up with her. We had, plans to get married, and thank God that didn't happen. So anyways, so I go back to my house the next morning, 6:00 in the morning. Boom, 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 boom. State police. Boom, 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 boom. I go down, answer the door. Hello. Drag me right out of the house. I'm in my robe and underwear. Absolutely freezing out. I remember my feet just being absolutely freezing. They go search the house. They thought they had Pablo Escobar. Okay.
I say that often.
They were searching the house for drugs. I'm like,
But they can't be drugged. They have to have a warrant for that. They have to search.
They had a warrant for electronic equipment,
Okay.
laptops. So they got my phone, stuff like that. They end up getting my laptops, and but they were looking at my freezer. I'm like, what? What are you looking at my freezer for? All my kitchen cupboards, and I'm like, it was totally ridiculous.
But
So,
they're justifying that by saying they're looking for cameras, hidden cameras, stuff like that. That's what they're saying, I'm sure.
I'm sure. So, anyways, they do the whole search warrant. The news breaks, and so now my former political opponent is down out of state, living elsewhere, and this person had served as a page in the Senate.
Now, is he older than you?
A couple of years younger than me, maybe
Okay.
2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Grew up with my family. Our families have known each other for years. I used to hunt with his grandfather. I swore his grandfather in on the town council. So our families have known each other for years. This person's father and uncle are retired state troopers. He gets a phone call, because we see it in all the discovery, about what's going on, and he's told to, quote, call this certain individual at state police. He does that, and that gets the ball rolling on the second case.
What is the
So,
second case exactly? Give
so
us
I was ultimately indicted on 2 counts of extortion, and the state alleged that I extorted sex from a Senate page during my first term in office. Now you got to picture this. I am 5'5", just got in there. I have no sway at all, and this person is a foot taller than me, and I had another 100 pounds, and I supposedly intimidated this person into forcing them to have sex, or I was going to fire them. That was the allegation.
Now, you
It
know
started
him.
off,
You knew him as a kid, right?
yes,
So
absolutely.
you grew up with this guy. He's working in the Senate building?
He worked there for I think 2 sessions. Yep.
Okay, that's probably interning or whatever they do for whatever. I
Yeah,
don't know.
they take high school students. You go get soda from them, make copies and all this other stuff. Yep.
Okay, so now he's at what age?
He was, I think it was 16 and 17.
When he says that you extorted sex from him.
Correct.
Okay, and you're at 23 maybe?
I would have been 20 and 21.
20 and 21, and he's 16 and 17 or something like that, right? And now he's saying that you're extorting sex from him. He's, and he didn't know what to do. Obvious. Did you have sex?
We had a on again, off again relationship for a number of years. Yes.
Okay. So now he's.
And I'm open about that.
Yeah, that's of course. Listen, you own what you do, and then you move on. Who gives a shit? This is 2023. I don't think too many people give a fuck what you doing in the bedroom. Now, what people will say that he's 16 and 17 and you're 23. I often talk about that. That's going to be an issue with a lot of people.
20.
Oh, you're 20 and he's 16, 17. Now, is that? I mean, you admit to a relationship. That's kind of like don't you admit? What's the age limit for consent in Rhode Island?
16.
16. Okay, so and now obviously you must have thought, hey, he's young. I'm a senator. What do I do? What? I mean, I get relationships. I know control because listen, I was a criminal. I get that part of it. It's so now. How does it come out that so the family's now pissed? They're thinking you are taking advantage of their son or grandson or whoever the hell he is.
Right. So now the other case comes out, and now here you go. Oh, let's go on to this.
But
thing.
how does the second case come out? This case with the page.
Okay, so they call the state police.
Who does? Who calls the state police?
The young man.
So the 16-year-old kid or 17-year-old calls the state police?
Well, this is we're talking. Okay, we got to back up here a second. We're talking years into the future, almost 7 years into the future now.
Okay.
After this alleged.
So now this
affair.
guy's 25.
Right, and he ran against me in a prior campaign in 2014. Never brought any of this up that I allegedly extorted from him. So our main question was, why didn't you bring this up? Okay, when you ran against me, I called him the night before the election. Hey, I wish you luck tomorrow. Da 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 da. Because we had been friendly, and he moved down to Tennessee, down south. Okay, and he ran his campaign from down there. I don't know how you can do that, but it is what it is. And we've been very cordial. I won that night, and his grandfather passed away sometime later on that month. So I went and met him in the year after. I remember it was in the wintertime. And I went to the funeral, and the family kicked me out. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? I had no idea. So now fast forward, the other case with my ex-girlfriend gets going with the raid on my house. That's when they decide to contact state police. Do you follow where I'm coming from?
I do. Maybe for an extortion of something to you, for money or something of that nature. But if they went straight to the state police, I don't know if there's extortion there. Also, at what point, is this guy in a relationship with a girl or somebody or a guy or something now?
I don't know. I mean, we found out some other things that he had lied about that I don't really want to bag anybody with, but
I'm going to assume he had sex with other guys and that's it, and something of that nature.
You can, yeah.
Okay, that's assuming. I'm just listen. I don't care what he does either. You know what I mean?
I don't care either, but again, I'll own up to my mistakes, but
Right.
don't lie.
Right. I agree.
And the lies we caught this whole investigation in was just absolutely unbelievable. And for instance, one of the allegations was that he was assigned to a committee that I was a part of, and then I told him, "Oh, go run copies," and then whatever happened in the office. Well, I looked. The state police gave us this evidence, right? They have to give you evidence in discovery.
Right.
And boy, I learned all these legal terms when I went through this. And you look at it, and I looked at it, and this was alleged to happen in 2011. Okay. Well, the entire 2011 session, he was never assigned to any committee. Every time he clocked out, it was right after the session would end, and then you would go to committee. So he was out of the building when this was allegedly to have occurred. The state police didn't even want to look at that. Okay, they were so clouded on this investigation because this person was related to state police.
I have a question on this one, a couple of them. What's the statute of limitations on this? There is a statute, I'm sure. I know there is federally.
I believe it's 7 years.
See, most are 5 years in the feds. Everyone thinks they're 7, very few. But it's 5 years, like for crimes like this, depending on. I think the feds made a move even to 10 now. But there is statutes, and did they have any evidence except him saying anything?
He allegedly told a story to several people, and there were different iterations. They tried to claim, when the various, but it was just a lot of talk. It was a lot of talk, and then my silence. I'm like, I don't have anything to say on it. So, so when I got picked up, I was working at an automotive restoration. I was making wiring for old cars. They come in, and I go out to get lunch, and I'm like, I come back, I'm all shaking. I'm like, the state police are out there. They're out there. And my buddy's like, you're nuts. He goes out. He comes back. He's like, you're right. I said, yep. So we go out and get lunch. And he, to this day, my buddy Ted, we laugh. He goes, we should have kept driving. We should have kept driving right to the courthouse and had you arraigned right there. So, anyways, when I got arrested, they said, we're going to arrest you for the video voyeurism from my ex-girlfriend. I'm like, okay, yep, sure. And then 2 counts of extortion. And I look at the guy and I'm like, what the heck?
Wait a minute. So they're doing all of this at once now.
It was all at once. I was fighting two fronts, So I was indicted that day, and then they came down and arrested me. And so the trooper said, "Oh, you seem confused by that. You want to talk about it?" I'm like, "Nope." And laughing now, my mother, she's driving home and listening to this on the radio. My poor mother.
I know. Believe me, that's the one I worry about. My mother too. You know that.
So anyways, she goes, when she heard extortion, she goes, if he has $1 million buried in the backyard, I'm gonna kill him. And I'm like, what do you mean by extortion? That case started out as a sexual assault case, and it went through the entire grand jury. Now, my mother served on grand jury, no other people, and there was laughing, there was joking. The story changed from what he told the state police to the grand jury, and you go through the whole thing. And I said, okay, forget about that, forget about the sexual assault. We're going to consider 2 counts of extortion. And the grand jury asked, well, what happened? And we asked the same question, never got an answer because they couldn't. They were trying to get something, they had nothing.
Right. Well, again, you're extorting something. I am assuming they're saying you extorted his job or his, you
They were saying the premise of the charge was to essentially blow me or I'll get you fired. That was the essence of the charge, which never happened.
Right. I got you. No. So
no power.
Now, you knew this guy for your whole life, really. I mean, he's a couple years younger than you, but it's like, different groups in the neighborhoods and stuff like that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, 7 years after the fact, almost 7 years, I guess, under their statute, He goes to the state troopers. I'm wondering what his motive was. I mean, was he
Well,
manipulated?
coincidentally, there was an incident down where he was living with the DUI at the time, and it was right before the news broke, and I think it was a nice distraction.
You mean the news breaks him for a DUI there?
Well, this person has a career down south and is known in the community as a publicist.
Okay, go ahead.
The news broke, and we found this out after my indictment, and so anyways, it seemed to dovetail perfectly.
Well, the reason I'm asking that question is all of a sudden, 7 years later, he sees
Mm-hmm.
something, and he goes to the state police, obviously, and that takes. You wonder why someone would go to the state police on something and make themselves embarrassed, or if I don't consider it embarrassing. Let me stop that. I'm wrong. Listen. Why would you put your own dirty laundry, out on the air? If
Exactly.
Go ahead.
I think they're just thinking maybe an easy case and whatever.
No, but easy case. I'm wondering about the guy you messed with.
Yeah.
Why would he do that? I mean, have you thought about that down deep? Was you confused of his own sexuality and he didn't know? But then why would you say anything?
I think he was really confused. I'm only guessing, and was looking at some way to try and blame it on me.
But blame what? Him having sex or doing something with you or whatever. I mean, 7 years later, I get the priest thing, the power, the young. They're 12 years old. They're 7 years old. This kid's not 7 years old. He's 17. I went in the military at 17.
And when you look at the tenor of, this is the other thing, the state police could have subpoenaed his phone, could have subpoenaed all the electronic messages. They didn't. We got everything, and we presented it to the judge, and that's what ultimately dismissed the case. When they're like,
what do you mean you subpoenaed what? Messages from what?
So we were able to get all the Facebook messages between this individual and myself, and we presented it to the judge and the prosecution right before the trial, and the case got dismissed. And
what was the evidence? You got to say it.
It was 28 pages of him soliciting me for sex.
Wow, they had the records from 7 years earlier. Facebook.
That my investigator was, and I got to throw my entire legal team of Paul DeMeo, Jay Dixon Acosta, and daughter Stephanie DeMeo, and my investigator Ed Pelletier, absolutely fantastic. We're just, we're now all friends and whatnot, but it was just, to go back and get all that stuff was just yeoman's work to go through it, and then able to present it to the prosecution. And when we presented it in court, it was like all the air was out of the group, and it was like dropping a bomb. And within a couple of days, it was over. They went through it, and this individual's like, "Yeah, I ain't going back to testify. I can't do that because
they're going to come up with all this stuff. Sure, that you did this, you asked for sex, you asked this.
Shit,
Right. Oh wow, and I listen. I look at this at Nick as it's two young guys or whatever, whatever, having fun and doing their thing, and then all of a sudden one guy gets I don't know. Usually it's parents. It's parents that push somebody.
I was basically at the end saying, "Look, I got a girlfriend now. Stay away from me." Da 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 da.
He was pursuing you. I got you. Was he pursuing you back then? I mean, after that, 7 years later, he wasn't pursuing you, was he?
No, but all from the time that from, I would say, my 20s until probably went away to college or whatever. A little after that.
That he did. Okay.
We had 3 or 4 years of electronic communication, confirming that, and like I said, it blew the whole case out of the water. Plus everything else that we had dug up, and the contradictions in the testimony. I mean, it never ever should have got out of that grand jury.
Yeah, well, even the grand jury, the prosecutor shouldn't try to push something they is pretty much false. I mean, you have to have some kind of common sense.
A federal prosecutor, but that's how it works up here.
Oh. So now, where is he today? Is he like? Is he Is he
I guess
married? Is he
they have.
gay? Is he what?
I have no clue on this person's sexual identity or anything. I just know that they have a career down in down south, and they seem to be doing very well. So
But what
more
has
power
happened?
to
I
'em.
mean, I keep looking back at this because saying, again, why would somebody do that? Number one, I don't know your area. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
It's a very
again,
conservative area. Or,
well, I come from a more Republican district, one of the very few in the state. But this person, when they were appointed a page, the whole family is Democrats, appointed by a Democrat. So was the politics a part of it? I don't know.
right. I mean,
I don't know.
so and you had no tiff with him, like oh, like personal tiff, so to speak, like an argument with him,
Other
saying,
than other than stupid political stuff, because obviously we were on different sides of the aisle. But I don't call that to be personal.
no,
When
absolutely
I
not.
have a political disagreement with someone, that's not personal to me, anyways. That's just we have a disagreement about how we, and obviously we disagreed on certain things, but we never ever had a personal issue. So now when I'm being hit almost 7 years after the fact with an indictment, and I was people, former coworkers of mine, they call me Nikki Scandals, by the way, and I cannot take the name with a I wear it like a badge, I guess. But anyways, one of the guys like, I remember you on the news. He goes, you were sitting there, and I was shackled and cuffed
On the
and brought up
news?
on the news. Oh, I was all over the world. But I go into the courtroom. There were 30 troopers from the top brass all the way down, right, for my arraignment on the indictment, and shackled and cuffed, dragged me in. And they read the indictment, and I just rolled my eyes. And one of the news stations caught it because I'm like, this is such
Bullshit.
crap.
Yeah,
You
you can
know.
say bullshit here.
Thank you. And so, anyways, they let me out. The state wanted bail, and the judge looked and it's like, no, this guy is a sitting state senator. He's a college student. He works. Personal recognizance, whatever the amount was.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
they let me out. And
That's called the signature bond.
yeah. So then I did that, and but I had to spend the weekend in the ACI, where my father happened to be he retired a couple of years ago, but he was the assistant director of the Department of Corrections up here in Rhode Island. So that made things a little hairy.
Wow,
'Cause,
matter of fact, that's funny because that that's one of my passions, changing the system the way it was. But it doesn't seem. I mean, I'm glad to see your justice system didn't fall to that. Oh, prosecutor wants this, let's give it to him. That's bullshit too. And
I gotta say, I think she was a magistrate. She was great, and really the judges in both cases, I got no complaints with them. I thought they were fair. You know, they never hassled me about traveling. You hear some stories about I got to travel for this, that. Never an issue.
how many people
So
are in Rhode Island? How many people in the state?
about 1 million.
Okay, so you got a million
People over
people. We got 550,000 in this county where I am in Florida. But of course, we got 24 million, I think, in Florida now. But and this county that I live in is 500,000, more than that, 570,000. And I look at the size wise, and I say this county and Seminole, which is what they call the district, where our state district, where the state attorney goes, he handles the two counties, which is over 1 million people. So it's kind of like your state in that regard. And I don't see them even, bothering with something like that. Unless, listen, they're tough here. Don't get me wrong. They've got a lot of, stuff that people are questionable, especially like convictions and that were very, very subject to a certain prosecutor that, had a faulty dog handler you can read about, and they got people in life sentences and that that's out, and that's kind of stuff you don't see this petty stuff. I mean, literally petty stuff. Because I look
Right.
back, I often tell people, I said, listen to me, before you do something, you better pull back the curtain on your own life and figure what you have out there. Because everybody in the world, I don't give a fuck who it is, has their own secrets, dark secrets, good secrets. I don't even call them. I don't give a fuck myself. But I'm talking about they have things that they don't want people to know for whatever reasons. It could be
Right, whatever it is, and people want to keep that private, and that's up to them.
Absolutely, I'm a believer in that. Your like I said, your privacy is your privacy, and I see with the first case where she thought she may, if she didn't, whatever, if she took pictures of herself and you, maybe the only thing you did wrong on the first one, in my eyes, was send it to a friend. Without, hey, listen,
Right.
can I sell it? Can I send it to somebody else? And if you're in that lifestyle, sure. I mean, you put them online. Who cares? That's all that kind of stuff. But as far as the other one, the 7 year later, I'm still boggled by what is in his mind that, or who pushed him and why would he do it going forward. I mean, did he want to make his name for himself as a victim? Some people do that.
Possibly, and they tried to shed media attention. Didn't want. So again, it boggled my mind. It was just, to me, I don't know if it was a cry for attention or something deeper than that, but
Now, you said
certainly,
your family's known each other, right? I mean, for a long
yeah,
time.
my father, I think, was in the army with him, with his father.
Wow.
I used to hunt my father, and I knew his grandfather for many, many years. And we signed when he ran against me. We signed each other's nomination papers because you got to get so many signatures to run. So we did that. So now all of a sudden, almost 7 years, 6 years out, 7
Has
years
your
after.
family, is your dad and mom still alive?
Oh yeah, my both my parents are still alive, and my father has since retired from the prison system. And
Probably my
mother's
age,
still,
right? Your parents
yeah,
probably my age, right? Give or take.
they're in their 50s,
Yeah.
59.
Well, he's younger than me. They're younger than me. But my thing is, did they talk to this family? I mean, it's kind of a
No,
small.
we have no contact, and frankly,
Nor do you want one, right? I get that.
no. I mean, they should have known better. And I get it. You want to stick to your kid, but I mean, it was just,
You
to me,
stick with your
there's no
kid privately, or obviously in front of people, and you might tell him, "What the fuck are you doing?" Or did he rape you? Did he do something to you? What do you mean? You're first of all, if you're intimidated at 17 that to give a blowjob for a fucking whatever it is, that's bullshit. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, who how do you get intimidated? I mean, you're not 10, you're not 11, you're not 12, you're not even 13. You're young, you're a man. I went in the military at 17 years old.
when this was alleged to have occurred, again, you got to remember, how am I going to, basically wrestle a person who's a foot tall and more than 100 pounds more than me? Ain't going to happen. They also alleged I had loads of sex toys in my office, right? So we were going to get my chief of staff to, I was in his office all the time, with paperwork, get stuff out of the desk. Never happened. But this was the outlandish stuff, like I was keeping a vibrator in the drawer or something for that.
So what? So what? I mean,
it goes to show, this story had no legs.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying all the things you've said to me so far. Listen, everybody knows I protect children. I don't know if you had a relationship with him at 20 to 17, even though it's consent, it's kind of like that wishy-washy thing, especially federally. Federally, it's 18, I think. So that could have been a bad thing. I often explain to young people. I said, "Listen to me. I get it. Listen, I talk about this all the time on my show. If you ever heard it, Nick, I tell young people. I said, listen, I get it. When people came to prison, and if they came and they had sex with a 17 or 16-year-old and they were 20, 21, we don't give a fuck. That's not, even though the government might do something, we don't give a shit. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? We didn't consider that a sexual crime. Now, under the federal law, there is actual code if you have sex with someone under 12 and under. That's
If
different.
that ever happened,
Yeah.
right, totally different.
Totally. And nobody ever accused you of, did the papers come out like child molester or anything of that nature?
I don't know if they infer, it was a shock that, I mean, this case was covered, internationally over in England and whatnot, just seeing all the coverage. And when you're going through it,
Yeah. Oh,
probably
listen, you're a young guy to begin with. Even then, even when it came out at 25 or whatever, you're a young guy, and he's young or whatever. And it seems just like two young guys just having experimenting in life or whatever they do. And listen, everybody's private life is their private life. And listen, I'm not a normal person, if you want to call normal. Listen, whenever people say, "Oh, you're crazy, you're not normal," I say, "Really? Let's define normal. If we could define
what is it?
normal, then I'll discuss the subject with you. But my normal might not be your normal because I don't want your normal. Your normal might be going to
Correct.
church every day and whatever, and I don't do that. So that's your normal. Great, have fun, do your thing. But I'm not, thinking that normal is you have to, go by the line of whatever you want to talk about. Meaning what is normal, Nick? We talk about that in the office here, right? And stuff. It's not like we're hard workers, man. We love to work. We love what we do. And where do you lie on this as a young Nick? You're 25 right now,
Yeah.
right? Where do you stand on something like that? Oh, what's going on? You've been listening. I know intently. You got the
It
stuff.
sounds like a witch hunt, is what it sounds like. Sounds kind of.
Like
I won't say that like Donald Trump. The witch hunt.
Oh, yeah.
No, it does sound like there's something. I believe me, trust me. I'm looking at your case. We're looking at with all the stuff. I mean, you're accomplished. Were you an up and coming guy? Did somebody want to shut you down, or was it the case with the girl that really shut you down?
Everything seemed to come all at once, and there was a vote coming up about the Pawtucket local Red Sox affiliate, and there were other things coming up, and also the Senate Minority Leader. It was kind of known, the State House chatter was I was going to become the next Senate Minority Leader. So when everything happened, he was one of the first to go on a joint statement with the Democrats to move to expel me. So
Politics.
was that part of it? I don't know. I did leave a message and said, look, as Scalia used to say, water over the dam.
I totally agree, Nick. Because listen, back in the day when I used to corrupt, and I'll be honest, openly, Nick talks about whenever I tell him he should be voting. I said, Nick, he goes, why? It doesn't matter. You tell the stories all the time about how you corrupted a mayor, you corrupted two other guys, got the place switched to a strong mayor city so you guys can get contracts and whatever you did. It was just, I don't know, that's the way I was. I just think people, if they would listen, most people, and I hope everybody listening out there, no matter what the fuck you do, it's not the end of the world, and you are great about that. I want to congratulate you on that. You didn't let this kill you. You're a young guy. You look at you. You're hunting. You're happy. You're getting married. You found a woman that's enjoying. She must know everything, and you
oh
guys
yeah,
have
I got a funny story about that.
break out
And,
the toys now.
my father every day would say, look, every day is going to get better. Every day is going to get better. And it did. It took a long time,
Good for him.
and
Sounds
got
like
another job.
Sounds like a good guy,
but
your dad.
Yeah.
We might have to have
guy.
a question with him about his running a jail and prison, whatever.
Oh, absolutely. He's went over to Norway. He's seen that. We've hosted Swedish correctional officers in our home for the holidays and stuff when they came over to visit our prison system. So he's seen quite a bit.
Well, I'm sure he has, and he must see. Boy, I'd like to sit down and talk with him for a while and discuss that.
A funny story about my future wife is that we met online and whatnot. So I happened to tell her who I was, and I said, "Uh-oh, she's gonna Google me. Uh-oh," because when you Google me, it lights up like a Christmas tree. I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And so she comes back and she types back. She goes, "So, ended a little scandalous, huh?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I if you want to cancel our date, I understand, but I'd like to talk to you in person about it. And obviously she gave me a chance. I don't know what she was thinking, but she gave me a chance, and we're getting married next month, and could be happy.
Why wasn't I invited to the wedding? I love weddings.
Come on up,
Nick. We might have to take a trip. Uh-oh, there's a trip. Nick, listen, I know your time is short, and we're here, but your story is amazing because of the rebound. People run through a lot of crap in their lives. You're young, you're an up and coming, you love politics, you did your stuff. obviously very intelligent. You won a race, so you were hardworking. You were a multi-term winner, right? Didn't you win 3 terms?
Yeah, I won 4 elections.
Wow, you won 4 elections, so
I
you
didn't finish the last term, obviously. I
obviously.
ended up resigning.
But here you are. You won 4 elections, so you understood grassroots. You understood how hard it is, and you came and you fought. And part of your resume that really, or your bio that really made me think, wow, this guy's good. He wasn't cowed by special interests. He didn't take any money from special interests, and that's the guys
the
like
union,
me.
Yeah, let me tell you, the special interests up there did not like me, and so they were happy to see me go.
Well, they
But
couldn't buy you. They couldn't buy you, and I get it. But I often wonder sometimes because I was very, very good at it. Did somebody in the back scenes put bugs in this kid's head? Maybe give him some money to do this. Maybe everything to get a double whammy on you, or even the girl. And believe me, we were good at it, and I think it's wrong. Obviously, I'm a different person myself after getting out of prison. And seeing life the way I seen it. Like, listen, I was always an individual who's open, didn't care about any of that, what people do in their bedroom. Who gives a fuck, man? It's all about happiness and respect for each other and communications. Obviously, that's the only way. Because if you start your relationship with your wife, and you congratulate her from me too, is unless I'm there, then I'll have to congratulate you. Nick, we got to think about that, man.
come on up to Rhode Island, May 6th.
What a trip we'd have. Is summer wedding up there or fall wedding? It'd be right. Wow.
May 6th.
What is it?
May 6th.
May 6th. That'd be a fun trip.
We're gonna have antique cars.
Where is it? Is it out like an outdoors thing or?
Yeah, it's gonna be in a barn actually. Where I used to have my fundraisers out in Foster. So yeah, absolutely.
So did a lot of people in the community stick by you?
A few. 2 very dear friends of mine, or so dear friends of mine. I haven't spoken to them. They turned state's evidence.
So now, what evidence can they turn?
Oh, this is what I heard, and blah blah blah. And,
bullshit.
yeah, so that wasn't. That was just. The state police. They put my father on the witness list. And he's like, what?
It sounds funny, Nick. I know you got to go. So just when you have to go, just let me know. Of course, it really boggles my mind why the state prosecutors was either so bad or they just had it out for you. You know what I mean?
Well,
because there's no evidence here.
Signing up for probation downstairs, my mother was down the hallway because we just finished the case, and the prosecutor was walking up and down the hallway saying, "We got our senator. We got our senator." So.
He considers that getting them. I guess what they meant is they were going to get you out of office. So I guess that's what they think. And if they consider that a conviction on all this and all the waste of taxpayers' money, in my mind, that's always what I look at. The bottom line: is it worth it? Why is it worth it? And who are we trying to please? Now I look at that. Back in the day, I looked at it how I could please us or my guys or what we're doing. But today, it's a whole different animal. And I give you a lot of credit for sticking to your guns, fighting it the way you did, and owning everything you did. It's not like, oh, I didn't do that. I didn't. No, you did it. So what? I mean, this is 2023, or even whatever years it happened. Things have changed. It wasn't like when I grew up. I grew up in the military where it wasn't don't ask, don't tell. It was you got caught in anything, you were gone. You know what I mean? You were kicked out, which I think America and I think the world has changed that way. Now, and I don't support or reject anything. I think people should have their own choice, and I always will. That's one of my biggest things on this show, that I'm very inclusive with everybody. I don't believe matter of fact, I did a cooking show. I don't know if you've seen it, with a guy, a friend I know. He's a gay guy, and Scott from a restaurant, and he's a fun guy, man. People laugh at us. They said, "You guys are crazy." And he goes, "Larry's just the most easygoing, don't give a fuck guy. He knows he can do that, So, and I want that to be."
Before I go, speaking of the cooking, I've done the prison pasta.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
My girl and I, we made that, and I did the grilled cheese too. With the that one didn't come out as good, but
with the iron, not like when I did it.
I don't think my iron it gets hot enough.
Yeah, I made that right here in the office. That was fun doing that one. I'm doing more. I got Nick here. Nick really produces the stuff, and we do this Sunday. You got to watch it. I have a hot sauce challenge with a 7-year-old kid. So
Oh, gee.
yeah, and it's a fun show. We do kind of a little skit in the beginning, and Nick put this together. It's a lot of fun. We do have fun stuff. I was very disappointed in the hotness of the stuff we had, which was garbage. If that's hot, man, I could eat anything. And I'm not a big hot eater. I'm not like Larry likes hot foods. No, man, I really don't per se. I mean, I like a little bit, but we supposedly got this stuff called, what was that stuff? Blazing or something, Nick?
Yeah, blazing.
Blazing is supposed to be 350,000 on the Scoville scale. Scoville is how they rate hot sauces. Well, it's supposed to be 350,000 Scoville. If that's 350, I ate a tablespoon of that shit. It didn't even bother me. Not a bit. Not one bit. And Nick, we were worried about the kid. That kid is a tough kid, though.
He came back for seconds.
Yeah, he did. He was a funny kid. But that's a cookie. You see what we're doing with the cookie shows? We're doing different things. I had Rude Jude. I have different things.
If you want to remake something, go watch Scott's episode, and it's like a
it's
cheese
really,
dish.
really good. He's a real chef. I mean, a real one.
Right.
And if you haven't seen that show, he's a gay chef that we did. Oh, I don't know. We did original. When we first started, I'll give you background. When we first started, Nick, we actually we messed up the filming of it, but his was the first show, and what he made is great. And the banter between us is everybody. You should have seen the online. I don't know, what is Larry? Is Larry gay? No, is he out there? What a whole crazy, funny shit. And we laugh. Nick laughs. We laugh about that kind of stuff. Because, life is too fucking short to worry about any people's what they think about you. You got to be happy yourself.
Life's too short. Some people, before I got to go,
Yeah.
It taught me a lot of who my friends are and the family, my parents, my aunt and uncle, my grandparents, and, my legal team were all stuck with me. And, the people in the community stuck by me. Those are your true friends that are going to be there, to the end. And, they didn't judge you. Well, maybe some didn't like what I did, but, again.
First of all, you're a young kid, too. I mean, obviously in that. But I know you got to go. We want to congratulate you. Tell all the team, your lawyers, everybody, you had support. You're going to have some support. And I'm waiting for some of the comments that could be negative.
Come on up to Rhode Island for the wedding. We'll have a fun time, pig roast.
And, are you serious?
My lawyer is absolutely. My lawyer, he did a lot of law work for Patriarch. So
Patriarch. I'll have a lot to talk to him about.
Yes, Harry Chillingham.
I'm sure he did. Yep. Did he do it with the young Raymond, right? Not the father.
He knew the father.
Yeah. I got to meet him once. All right, I gotta go, and you're gonna go. That's what I'll talk to Nick about it. And we really appreciate you coming on the show, talking about your story.
Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate you letting me come on here and tell my story.
Absolutely. So. And Nick, any last thoughts on that, Nick?
Oh, it was a good story.
Really,
I liked hearing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something interesting, and people want to know about stuff because we all have whatever it is, and then somebody and say, how does it work if it's a politician? Don't judge before you know. That's what I tell everybody. I don't judge anybody until I get the facts.
That taught me, don't judge until you hear the whole story.
And then don't judge anyway, because who the fuck are we to judge?
Right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Nick, you have a safe day, safe week. Have a great weekend.
Have a good day.
And enjoy those cigars. You got the code down.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Did you get the box with the code in it and everything?
Yes. Yep.
I told you they came pretty quick, which is pretty good. But if you need anything, you let us know. And Nick, good luck in your future, and I hope you get in politics because we need people like you.
Oh, thank you. I know my family's against that. But
I'm sure they are. That is Nick, everybody, who is a former politician in Rhode Island who had, first a sex scandal with pictures and then a gay scandal. I guess you can call it a gay scandal with stuff. Did anything shock you? You're 25, Nick. You're a young guy in the communities today. Did anything there shock you?
No, not at all.
Not at all, right? It
just sounded like petty political games.
Yeah, I mean, who gives a fuck about the girl with the pictures? I don't buy that unless he has hidden cameras, and that would be a whole different thing. That's a whole different animal. But if you consent to have pictures with somebody, so what? You have pictures with somebody. You know what I mean? You did it. You did it. Now I get privacy, and you should. If somebody takes it, you should. Hey, listen, don't take a picture of me for whatever reason. But it is what it is, and that's how I look at that. But and I look at guys like that who are young, ambitious at 20 years
He
old.
was 19 when he ran.
19. That
is crazy.
That blows me away.
Yeah.
I mean, to be that mature and to understand to go door to door. Politics is a rough game.
Yeah.
And this kid did it, and it's they don't pay either. It's not like a big paying job. They get very, very like a small stipend, and people make mistakes. If you don't learn from them, that's one thing. Obviously, he found a woman that knows about his whole past. They can do whatever they want. And they can live their own lives, and I think that's a great way to start a relationship, actually. So I think it's a good thing for him. I think once people don't know it, and then they're in the marriage, and they didn't want it, one wanted this, no communications. And it happens with my marriages twice, none of them knew I was a gangster. Nah, but, they did know him, right? But, I just look at relationships now as an older person, and that's why I'm not jumping to relationships, I'm a single guy's living, I work hard, I love what we do, and I think that's important. So, I mean, I think we're going to get some good comments on this, and I want to hear the view of younger people. That's who I love to hear from. So, I mean, if you were just listening to this, first of all, you'd say, wow, this is interesting. And then, how would you look at it? And you'd say, fuck that or something, right?
I thought it was a good show. I wouldn't.
Are you
agree
with us
you.
today, Nick?
Yeah.
You look a little, you had a long night or something? Nick is like looking at me. Oh, come on, man. Now, he's coming on more and more because actually Nick produces a lot of stuff. He sets things up. He's very good. The TV shows and some of the videos he really produces. So, and he's my right-hand man. Listen, I need him. I never got this busy in my life. No, I do. I mean, you see it. I mean, he thinks I'm crazy too, though. Sometimes, damn, Larry, you're talking riddles.
You do. Talking riddles.
Why do I talk in riddles?
Just like just riddles, man. Sometimes they don't make any sense.
You because it's in my head, and I think
that is the whole thing. It's in your head, and then you just don't. You don't say the whole thing. You just stop.
I'll say, go get that.
Like, what? Get what?
He's learned it, and he knows I don't go off the handle too often. I don't think, do I?
Or when you describe things, it's like over there, not like over there in the closet to the bottom right. It's in a drawer. It's yellow.
It's like, over there.
It's over there. Go get it. Like you didn't even tell me what to get.
Am I that bad sometimes?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you figuring me out?
Yeah, I can solve most of the riddles now.
You know what it is? It might have been in a conversation 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the thing too that you do.
I have such ADHD. You said, right? Yeah, no credit. Laura, who's working with us in the parenting seminar coming up, she goes, Larry, you are the definition. I said, yeah, Laura, you think I got ADHD? Oh, did you look in the dictionary and see a picture? She goes, you definitely have ADHD. Now, what is ADHD actually? Do you know?
Attention deficit
disorder. But
deficit disorder.
But what's the ADHD?
Attention. It's something hyper.
Hyper. Disorder. HDAD. I don't know what HDAD.
ADHD.
ADHD. There must be a hyper disorder.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have it all. Right? Do I? I'm fucked up. I know. People look at me and says, I thought I'm just like, it's in my head, man. I got so much shit in my head. You got to admit, I got a hell of a memory. You hear it when I talk about law from way back 30 years ago or something like that. I take care of my mom.
It depends on the memories.
What do you mean? Go ahead.
I don't know.
But people are going to want to know more because you have to come out about my bad stuff. Meaning, what is Larry like? You're going to get a lot of that.
If you don't want to remember it, you won't.
Oh,
just
really?
Like in conversations where that guy we just talked about that.
With what?
I don't know any subjects right now, but.
Oh yeah. Now I don't think I'm like that. I think I'm pretty. Listen, what triggers my brain, especially like we have the I'll never forget bracelets, because people said, "Man, you never forget," and I don't. I have a very, very
It's like
vivid
an
memory.
elephant.
What? Hey, now you gotta insult me, man. I lost a lot of weight.
Elephants have great
See
memories.
that bullshit? Now that's bullshit, Nick, and you know it. Because listen, I've lost weight, right? Everybody knows I was 260. I went down to 203, 57 pounds. But now I gained some back, so I'm back to 222. Was it?
You always got to take it to the weight.
Yeah.
It wasn't a weight thing.
Oh, it
You
was
never
a weight.
heard
You
the-
called me
no.
an elephant.
You never heard elephants have the best memory?
How the fucking who knows an elephant has the best memory?
They can like walk 17 miles and know where the water holes are. And
Listen, if it meant food, every human in the
No,
world
they
can
have the
walk.
best memory. It's a saying.
I don't know. What is that? Like fucking eagles got the best eyes or some shit?
Oh yeah, eagles will fuck you up.
Oh, and that is true. They will, man. Animals will fuck you up. But I just think it's fun what we're doing and getting interesting people like this to come on and actually talk about stuff that's really different. That's hard to talk about. This guy just
Yeah.
went on our show.
He said, "What's up?"
We're heard in 87 countries, 86 or 87 countries. Now people are going to know about. He said they knew, but now they're going to hear his side of it. Which I think is pretty cool in my own way. And I also have a picture of him. He sent him smoking a cigar. So I'm going to text him and see if he don't mind us using the picture up as well. And I just think that a guy like this is just a real guy, and real shit happens to real people. And life isn't always cherry. Life isn't always the fucking gravy train. And I tell young people, all young people, I tell Nick this all the time. If life was fucking just what you meant and you didn't have this struggle or that struggle, it'd be boring. Look at me. I'm always fucking, not whether it's struggling or going one place, going to another place, taking care of my mom, doing the seminars, doing videos, doing fucking TikToks, yelling at people because we didn't put fucking TikToks up in a while. But whatever they are. We have a lot of fun doing what we do, and I know you do too, Nick. So, and I'm glad you're here again. You help us out a lot. Sam said that the other day when I was alone with him when we were up at the Ferrari event. He goes, I'm glad Nick works out. He's a really good guy.
I got to drive in a race car.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. That vlog's going out Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I'm on now.
He woke up. I just tested him. That's what it did. Because our videos go out, just to let everybody know. We have a video that goes out the cooking video is every other Sunday. The live show is every other Thursday. And then we sprinkle the other stuff in. And like 1 week, we'll have a Tuesday, Thursday live, and then Sunday. And then on a Sunday video, we go to Wednesday. So that week. And then back to Saturday, and then back to Tuesdays. This way we have 2 days in between every video going up, because we're putting up a lot of shorts and stuff. I think we should get back on that. I think we're going to, Nick, right? And you've been doing really good work on that, and our numbers show it. I mean, we're surpassing numbers that from Instagram to all this kind of stuff. And I got to say it right on the air. It's because of you, and these guys are now working a little bit harder. Darian's been doing great editing. I mean, he always did good. I mean, really getting on. I mean, even descriptions, everything else. I see the difference there, and I know you do because you mentioned it to me. And Larry now going to cutting videos more and stuff. So we got a lot going on, and I'm happy about that. Anything else going on in we have to report? I'm trying to think. There's a few other things we had. Again,
We just got back from a busy month. I think
oh
it's
wow. Yeah, we need a slow down
Yeah.
month. Maybe we got to go to a wedding in Rhode Island. I'm telling you, that'd be a ball.
That'd be fun.
It'd be a lot of fun, I mean, first of all, I've never been to Rhode Island. I actually met Raven Petrek in Boston, and I was up there as a young guy, and I was just with people.
As long as there's food, I'm in.
Oh, I know. I'm the big guy, but Nick can eat, man. He's 150 pounds, and this fucking guy. I said, man, I bet your parents rather clothe you than feed you, But I hope you don't have that gene where you blow up like I did. I went in the military at 132 pounds. Look at me. I fucking ain't seen. One leg isn't 132 anymore.
Not happening.
You don't see? Yeah, I said the same fucking thing. I also said, I'll never go to jail. Didn't work there
Or you
either.
Straight to prison.
Right. I went to a few jails on the way. But That's crazy. Anyway, we got a bunch of stuff. I think we're going to get out of here, Nick. Everything else good here?
I think we're good.
Nothing to report to everybody. We're going to be back on Monday. We're going to be seeing people, right? We're going to be back here Monday. So, everybody, you have a great, great weekend. Thank you for listening and supporting our station in any way you can by passing the word. Remember, we got a parenting seminar coming up on August 19th to 20th. There's a lot of information coming out about that. If you're a parent out there, you're going to want to come to the seminar. You're going to know so much. We have a judge, a prosecutor, a criminal defense attorney, psychologist, chief of police. All these people are going to be presenting at this 2-day seminar in Orlando, Florida. And we got the good rates and we got everything else. So that's coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're working hard on that. You know that. So with that said, Nick, I want to thank you again. Everybody else, have a great day. Just make sure you make good choices along the way. That's it.